Hey everyone, what's up? So I just picked up Bad Cat's pinball machine. It's a Williams System 11 machine, and it's overall a really good condition machine, but I did have an issue with the drop targets. They just weren't working very well. So I'm rebuilding the drop targets, and I'm going to show you guys real quick just a few tips on rebuilding System 11 drop targets on a Bally Williams machine. You know, each brand of pinball machine, they've got, like, you know, different style of drop targets. Each is a little bit different from each other, and then also the generation of machine too. So like this is a Bally Williams System 11, but previous to this they did not use optical sensors, you know, just little differences. So anyway, so just to show you really quick the issue I'm having with my drop targets, it's alright, so I've already cleaned 2 of these, and alright, so the problem is, like, when the ball hits the drop targets, they're either not moving down or they're moving way too slowly or getting stuck. This one's not going. And then these 2 over here I cleaned. This finger was in the way. But yeah, so those ones are actually registering really well, or those are moving really well now, you know. And then these are the old ones I haven't refurbished yet. Getting stuck or not actually dropping. So that's my issue, but and that's pretty easy to fix. But some of the other issues you can have with these boards is maybe the drop targets are dropping down, but they're not actually registering. And for that, you may just have dirty optical sensors. So here's another drop target assembly. This one was actually working all right. You know, it's functional, but I figured I might as well clean it. Some of these are moving a little bit slowly. I'm gonna clean it up anyway, just so that I don't have to worry about it for a while, and it'll be nice and fully functional. So this is what your drop target assembly will look like when you first remove it. And you'll want to remove the two connectors on the circuit board, and then you'll want to desolder the 2 wires that are connecting to the coil, and be sure to label, you know, which color wires go where on the coil. Desolder those, because you don't want to be working on this inside the machine. It's too much. You know, you don't want this. These are heavy. You don't want these hanging down. It's a lot easier to work on everything when if it's just out. And that's all you really have to do is desolder these 2 wires, remove the 2 connectors, and then unscrew. Up here will be is where it'll screw into the play field. And be sure to use, you know, the same screws. Sometimes you don't want to accidentally put a longer screw in and go up through the play field. So yeah, take these out, and then you can remove the retaining clips. There'll be like a few retaining clips. This one has 3, that other one had 3 too. And then from there, the circuit board will just come right off. So this was on here like this with the retaining clips, and then you just, well, actually it went this way. This is on here like this with the retaining clips, and then I just remove the retaining clips on here and pull the circuit board right off. Now, for my issue, all I really have to do is clean these tracks completely, like just really completely. And I'll show you that in a few minutes. But one of the issues you may have if the drop targets are dropping but they're not registering, you'll want to clean your optics. You can use like some isopropyl alcohol and a Q-tip and just clean those out really well. If that doesn't work, you may need to replace the optics. They do sometimes go bad. It's just 4 solder points for each one, and you can replace those. Those are pretty cheap anyway. And then another thing to look for is right on your connector plugs, the pins. A lot of times you can get cold solder joints on these, so you may see like a little crack, or if you wiggle the pin, you'll see it moving in there, and it shouldn't move. It should be, you know, soldered in there really well. So in that case, you know, even if you don't see anything, you can touch it up anyway. Just get yourself some fresh solder and just dab it on there, remelt the solder, reflow it on those pins right there, and that will sometimes solve your issue if it's not registering. So check those 2 things, the pins or the optics, either cleaning them or replace them. And then that should solve your issues with not registering the drops. But in my case, the drop was registering. It just, the drop targets just weren't going down completely, or they were going down too slowly. So I've already cleaned 2 of these. So basically what I want to do is remove the spring. Okay. Spring off here. And you can check your spring too. If your spring is losing tension, you may need to replace that, but mine are actually pretty good. So it's just kind of a buildup of gunk in here. So we want to remove the retaining clips. Alright, so this one down here is really just, it acts as a guide. There's no resistance on this one, so it's not as big of a deal to clean around this, but we're going to anyway, just because, you know, might as well. But this is where your main issue is probably going to be. This is where the spring is, so it puts resistance on this washer, and that's where we really want to focus our cleaning attention on. Alright, so take the retaining clip off, and then we've got a washer on the top, and then a spring, and another washer. So this is where we're going to want to clean. Now we can take our drop target off, and it's pretty gummy in this track here. We're going to completely clean that out on both sides of this track, and then we're also going to clean our actual target too, because it's a little bit dirty, not too bad. Alright, so what I'm going to do is get a little bit of isopropyl alcohol, and I'm going to use a one of these what are they called, magic sponges, whatever the hell they're called. And so I'm going to I just put a little bit of isopropyl on there, and we're just going to scrub clean the target. You want to be careful, you don't want to break these either, so you don't want to apply too much pressure. Actually, yeah, so our target looks pretty clean. Now we're going to clean out the track area. And I'll do down here too, even though we don't have any real resistance down here. I'm just going to clean it up anyway. Alright, and then we'll do the back side. Just want this like really nice and clean in here. Remove all the gunk. And you don't really want to, like, a lot of times you'll find like you may get a machine and there'll just be like a buildup of gunk in here because someone thought that a good way to fix their drop targets would be to, you know, spray some WD-40 or whatever, but that will just really encourage more dirt and gummy buildup. So you don't really want to spray anything in there. You just want it to be nice and clean. Alright, so let's go ahead and try this up. Alright, so we're looking pretty clean. And I'll just go ahead and I'm going to reinstall this, but I'm going to clean the post too. Because this bottom post actually, this bottom post, oh here we go, there's a washer on here. We're going to clean this washer. Just going to kind of clean the post a little bit too. Don't really need to go to town on these things. I'm just going to clean it up a little bit there. Alright. So we will put our washer back on, nice clean washer. And I got to clean these other 2 washers that we have as well. So I'm just kind of rubbing the washer into the magic sponge thing. Alright, clean most of that stickiness off. Alright, so now we can go ahead and replace our drop target. I'm actually going to reinstall the spring too while I'm at it. So I'll just hook that in there and then hook the other end on to the other post, and then we'll just place this right in there. Alright, now we put our other washer on, and then the spring, and then another washer, and our retaining clip. Alright, and then our other retaining clip that just kind of basically acts as a guide, keeps it from falling off. Alright, so that is completely done. Let's test it out. Alright, that moves pretty freely in there now. So that works really well. I'm going to go ahead and clean up these other two. These are the other two bad ones. You can see that one was really slow. Alright, so that's how you can refurbish your System 11 drop targets in your Bally Williams machine. A lot of this will probably apply to other machines and makes and models and different years. Hope this helps, and I will see you later.